Hello and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for this week. This week we are going over Evolve by Imagine Dragons from 2017. It's their third studio album. And this is the track listing. Obviously, the big hits from this being Believer, Thunder, and Whatever It Takes. All songs that I think went number one, although I'd have to double check the exact rankings. They were definitely all over the area, all over the radio. And then maybe Walking the Wire was also on the radio. I don't remember hearing that one as much, but yeah. And these are the songs I added to my playlist. So as you can see, most of them, pretty much all of them, except for the last track there. Um, and that sort of represents the album pretty well. It's really good. Pretty much all the songs are good, and the album has the very excellent feature of flowing extremely well in, uh, into itself. It flows very well. The only issue is I might have spread out these two. I wouldn't have Whatever It Takes right next to Believer because they're both like big hit songs, and I think the album would flow better if you put probably Whatever It Takes down here, maybe right before Thunder. But anyway, the back half of the album flows really well, and all of the songs are really good. Obviously, singles Believer came out first, then Thunder, then followed by Whatever It Takes. And my favorite track from this album is probably the first one, I Don't Know Why. And I'm very glad for this album that they started off with a non single track because this song is really good, but it's really nice to hear it as a first track on the album and just sort of get an impression of the album. It does make a very good sort of indicator of what the album is going to be and how good the album is. Rise Up is also really good. Yesterday is really unique and interesting, and then Start Over is always great. And of course, the singles are good too. But this album is definitely one of my favorite albums, basically ever. Um, as you can see, it's my favorite Imagine Dragons album, and if I were to rank all of the albums I've listened to, this would be up there. It would be very difficult to rank all of my albums though, because I'd be ranking things that aren't really equivalent. And unsurprisingly, it's also my favorite album from 2017, although it does not have that much competition in regards to that. Most of the albums in 2017 are not that great. Both Pink and Taylor Swift released sort of subpar albums, in my opinion. Um, Not as good as their other albums. I think the biggest competitor here is the Train album, A Girl, a Bottle, a Boat, because that album is pretty good. That is one of their better albums there. But it would have to be we're looking at it would have to be Save Me San Francisco level good to beat Evolve. And I mean it's not that good, but it is a good album. But so next up. Yep, the week 3 bracket for the Minty Music bracket. We only have 4 artists left. So next week we will be doing the final poll. But this Friday, the week 3 bracket ends. So if you really like or really hate one of these 4 artists, go on and vote for or against them, depending on your preference. And it ends Friday, so do that sooner rather than later. And then next up is the Splatoon 2 original soundtrack, aka Splatoon 2. Yeah, it also came out in 2017. I won't really be able to compare it to Evolve since it's a video game soundtrack as opposed to a normal music album, but it should still be interesting. So stay tuned.